What is going on, YouTube? We are back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about momentum and why you need to capitalize. I was going to post this video yesterday and actually create the video yesterday, but I realized that I just didn't have enough time. And truth be told, I had a busy day yesterday. And by the time I went to get to doing the video, it was like 2:54 a.m. I decided to go to sleep. I think it was a little bit too late. That being said, ladies and gents, I want to talk to you about momentum and why it's so important that when you have momentum, you capitalize. So let's stay all the way to the end of the video if you want to hear what I'm talking about. Now, when I say momentum, what I'm really referring to is things starting to click in your favor. That could be physical, that could be mental, that could be financial, that could be spiritual, that could be really any sense. But I personally believe that they all play a role together, right? So when you notice that you're going into the gym and you're noticing that as you work out day after day after day after day, and you start to want to do it more, it becomes easier to stick with. That is their momentum. And it's getting easier because you're adapting, right? Now with financial, it could be you're making more money and you're learning how to even make more money, and you're learning certain skills that are allowing you to put yourself in a better financial position, right? It could also be, spiritual. And this is a real thing. The more that you read the Bible, you get into prayer, you get, into your faith with God, the more routine it gets. Now, the flip side of all these things is true, right? As you start to degress, or regress, I should say, you will start to notice that these things get more difficult to keep up with. And now, when I say it becomes more difficult to keep up with faith, this could be, okay, you take one day away from reading your Bible, you take one day away from spending time with the Lord, and you realize, I don't really feel like doing that much. I'm tired, it's late, I'm about to go to bed, it's 2, 1, however late I am, I don't know how you guys stayed up, but it's like, you start to be like, it's not that big of a deal, you kind of put it off. Eventually, you get into this momentum, this negative downward spiral where you stop reading your Bible as much, and next thing you know, you're faced with more temptations, you have, less of that relationship with the Lord, right? And I'm not in any means like pushing my faith on you guys, but legitimately this is a real thing, and I think that each and every one of you guys will get benefit from tapping into your faith and talking to Jesus. But even if you're not, continue watching, because this is a real thing that will affect also financial, and physical, right? And so when it comes to, financial, if you're picking up steam, you're getting more confidence, you're learning the skills to make more money, to do these sorts of things. As you start to do and hammer down more of those things, it becomes easier. But at the exact same time, as you start to regress, because it becomes harder to pick these things back up, and you fall out of steam in it. And I think the easiest thing to relate this to is physical, right? Like if you're in the gym working out, you're building muscle every single day, you're looking better and better, every single day you're feeling better and better, and every single day, most importantly, it's becoming easier and easier to stick with. Then eventually, bro, there's either going to be this turning point where you start to regress, or this turning point where you keep up with these things over the long haul. And so like when you have this momentum pick up, you need to understand that now is the time to continue hammering down. When it becomes easier to follow through with, you need to do more of that, because if you do that, then you're setting yourself up for success in the long term. So if you're in the gym and you're all the time doing your workouts, you're gonna notice that, okay, it's a little bit easier to eat healthier, right? It's easier to stick with my nutrition because I know that I've done it 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 straight days. And as you start to shift away and eat more junk food, eat less quality food, not time your workouts, not time your meals, not eat the right amount of macronutrients for your goals, you start sliding back, it becomes so much more difficult to get out of this hole and get back into speed, right? And now with faith, for example, the more that you become distant with the Lord, or distant from your faith, or distant from, whether it be meditation or reading or writing, as you start to do these things less and less, you'll notice if you go, say, a week straight and you read every single day a chapter, and then on day 8, you don't read at all. Well, by day 9, it's gonna not even feel like it's routine for you. So you need to capitalize on these things. Number 1, you need to capitalize on these things while you have the momentum. But number 2, you need to know that it's a lifestyle, right? So the more that you do it over the long term, the more likely that in the future, when you slip off, you can get right back on track. And like for me, I could genuinely go, not that I would prefer to do this, I'd rather not, but I could go, on vacation, and I still work on vacation, but I could go 10, even 12, 14 days without a workout, And then day 15, it's like, I'm so motivated, I can't wait to get back in. But for a long time, I was unable to do that. And I noticed that the more that I went into the gym, the easier it was for me to stick with, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching can relate to this. If you're ever eating on a healthy diet per se, the reason I say healthy is because there's really no healthy foods. It's just foods that get you in worse off shape or better off shape. Foods that have more nutrients or less nutrients. Foods that are from the earth, foods that are from, processed machinery and whatnot, right? And from the lab. So that's why I say quotes, because tying emotion to food is never a good thing. It never helps out. And so the more that you get distance from these things, the easier it becomes to stay distant from the things. But the closer you get to staying on top of these things, and the more that you stay consistent, the easier it is to have that consistency in that particular avenue. And of course, it's going to carry it over all avenues, right? And so if you're noticing that you're picking up steam, brother, hammer down. Grab that hammer and smash it into the nail until that thing is almost too far in. Because ain't no way that nail's coming back out, bro, once it's already drilled into that 2x4. And that's just a fact. It's just so simple. Same thing when it comes to your fitness. If you've gone to the gym for the past 14 days every single day, guess what? On 15, guess what's going to happen day 15? It's going to be very difficult for you to not want to go to the gym or not to think about going to the gym, right? And it's like you're seeping this into who you are as an individual and becoming, one with that thing, right? And I'm by no means saying use this in the wrong light and do negative habits, right? Because I think that there are times in life where maybe you're drinking or you're partying or you're doing drugs or things, and I genuinely think that this same concept applies, where it's probably going to be much more difficult to get yourself from that situation back to where you want to be. But I believe that Jesus will save your life. And literally, if you pray and you ask him for the answers, he can pull you from any storm. 1,000%. And that's happened in my life so many times where I've been in bad routines. I've fallen out of distance from family members, friendships. I've fallen into bad routines and even cycles with my own workouts and haven't been in this good groove. And that, snap back into it. So I will say that is the thing, but especially, with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it becomes just that much easier if you're staying on top of these things. And so you need to understand that when you have that momentum, when you're starting to pick up speed, is when you need to hammer down, brother. If you're in the gym for 2 straight weeks and you're noticing that every day or every few days you're realizing that you look a little bit better, you feel a little bit better, your confidence is a little bit higher, you believe in yourself a little bit more, bro, don't take time off from the gym. I'm telling you. I was watching this video earlier. Brandon, if you're watching this video, bro, you are an absolute savage. My boy Brandon, he has 10K YouTube subscribers. I'm not going to list his last name. You guys can find him. He's a dog. He's an absolute savage. And he was just posting a video maybe an hour ago, or posted something I was watching. And he talked about so many people in their 20s, right? They say, take a day off from the gym, bro. And he was saying you legitimately could go, 23 hours without sleep and 1 hour of sleep in your 20s and still be crushing it. And how so many people say, hey, take a rest day, take a day off. And it's so true, bro. It's so true. I grew up with all these friends, not to say they're not good people, but telling me take a day off from the gym, bro. Yo, you need your time for your body to recover, yada, yada, yada. It's bro, I don't want to take time off. Why are you trying to tell me to do less work if I actually want to do these things? And I can recover way more than 20 years down the line. Just a fact. It's just a fact. When I'm in my 50s and 60s, of course, I'm going to, I don't even know if that's true, because I genuinely think my body will adapt because of the stimulus and the amount of work I'm putting it through at this age. But he was basically getting at the point, so many people say, take a day off, take time off. And I think that's the last thing you should ever worry about. Your body will know when you're overworking, you're taking time off. And I know I go back and forth with all these concepts and maybe one doesn't align, but as a general rule of thumb, and it's in context, I'm not saying train to absolute muscular failure every single day of the week, right? I'm saying you can still be grinding all the time and not having to worry. And so many people, they look for the rest before they even see the reward. I'll say that again. So many people, they look for the rest before they even see the reward, meaning they're well, I did the work, bro. I might as well take a day off. How I look at it, how my boy Brandon looks at it, how a lot of these people look at things Or, I'm gonna do the work and follow through 1050%. And then maybe if my body's like hurting, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling sore, maybe I'll take a day off from the gym. And it's crazy because I don't know how long you guys have been in a good routine, but as soon as you get in that good routine, personally, I don't want to stop. I just want to keep going. And it becomes more and more enjoyable, especially when you start to find dopamine from the natural things, when you start to find dopamine from the workouts, from the cardio, from, eating healthy, from reading, from learning, from educating yourself, from growing, from expanding rather than contracting, bro. Stop contracting and start expanding. In the gym, you need the eccentric and you need the concentric. So you need to contract your muscles and you need to stretch and lengthen them. But in real life, bro, your brain, the neurons that are firing, you need to provide those neurons, with the amount of ability so that they can produce at the rapid rate that they're producing at. And really where I'm going with this, bro, is so many people, they look for, and I'm emphasizing what his message was, they emphasize trying to find the rest, the time off before they even see anything from it. Why not go balls to the wall, absolute animal savage mode until you achieve the thing and then say, okay, maybe it's time I take a day off. I think it's a much better problem to have an issue with not being able to take out time off from the gym because you want something so bad and you're so convicted, meaning you are so bought into the fact that you are going to have that thing no matter what. When I was a kid, I used to play basketball. I would play every single day, 8, 10, 12 hours a day if I really had to. And of course my body was sore. Of course my feet hurt at times when I'm 12, 13 years old. But I wanted to play so bad because I wanted to be better. And I also liked it, right? I had this passion for it, right? And all the kids that played, that grew up with me, that tried out for the team, that didn't make the team, right? That played and, they're like, dude, let's take a break. I genuinely didn't want to, right? And so I say all that, guys, just to say that so many people, they look for the reward before they see any amount of success. It's like, yo, do you like doing this thing or not, bro? Because truth be told, some strategy comes into play at some point, and it's so true. But I think so many people, they look at the strategy rather than the reward themselves. When I, used to run cross country when I was in high school, just as another example, and we had to run, figure eights around the school, and we went off campus and we ran, and there were times, far and few between, very minimal. If you guys know me, I'm not the biggest fan of cardio because you can burn fat and get lean without it. But where I'm going with this story is, you can, we would go on these runs, and I remember a couple times I did 8 miles, 10 miles, upwards of close to 12 miles. And yeah, I walked a little bit in between, but just going on a 12-mile run, that's insane, bro. And during those races, those practices, I should say, during that time, I always was the type of person that was like, okay, I'm not stopping until I have absolutely nothing left in the tank. How is it that David Goggins ran 100 miles or whatever even the number was in 24 hours? He was absolutely crazy, right? But look what kind of story he left on the world. Look what kind of impact, he put on the people around him. Somebody like myself, somebody like, these people maybe watching my videos that feel inspired by these things. And yeah, there is that level of psychotic craziness, bro. And you just have to have that with certain things in life. And yeah, I have 100 milligrams of caffeine, so maybe I'm going off of a tangent here. But I'm getting at the point of you need to be able to look at the reward as, if it comes, it comes. But I'm just going to obsess over the work. And if you obsess over the work, you will notice that you pick up speed, you pick up momentum, and it becomes easier to stick with. And so now, if you're in the gym all the time, if you're working all the time, you're reading all the time, you're learning, your body adapts, your brain adapts. So you're reading a chapter a day, next thing you know, that turns into you're reading a book a week, next thing you know, you're reading a book a day. There are people that have done this, right? And same thing, with physicalities of sports. You start off, you play basketball for 30 minutes a day, trying to make the team, and then you realize okay, these guys on the team are literally playing 8 hours a day, all day, every single day. I need to play more if I want to be on the same level. And not just that, but your body adapts, your brain adapts, and you look for the work. And doing that allows you to pick that momentum up, and now you stay consistent with it, right? And so many people, they're looking for their end result, and they're thinking, they're trying to calculate, like, how much should I be doing, right? Even with weight room, for example, when I worked as an in-person trainer, so many people that I worked with, they were like, whoa, bro, you're doing way too much volume, bro. You need a rest day. And I remember I had a TikTok video I posted way back when. If you could find it, good luck. It's out there somewhere. But I talked about how some kid that was like 14 commented on one of my TikTok. He said, do you need a rest day? Like, and I literally said, like, bro, no. Like, you can legitimately go to the gym every single day. And I was basically saying, like, maybe some of the days you're taking it less intense, and etc. But like, I legitimately was that person. I worked out. Not just went into the gym, I lifted weights for 30 straight days. And I remember doing this once and being like, yo, am I gonna get in trouble? Am I gonna get hurt? And of course, it's high risk, high reward, right? The reward for me was not the gains themselves. It was just like, I just love doing this so much, I want to go. And I remember there was a fitness coach that was in his mid-30s when I was younger getting into this, and I heard he had done that and he was okay and he responded well. So I was like, all right, if he's done it, you know, shout out Kyle if you're watching this. I'm like, if he's done it, then so can I. And I did that. And ultimately, yeah, you know, I maybe lost a little bit of progress. I stagnated a little bit because I was overtraining, whatever. But like, moral of the story is the amount of character that I gained, the amount of discipline, the individual I became in that process of going to the gym every single day, and not just 30 days a week. I'm sorry, not just 30 times in a month. Like, I'm not exaggerating, bro. Every single day of the week for a whole month. Not just 30 days, but a lot of those, like probably 25 of those days was twice a day. Like, morning is cardio, abs, maybe a light workout. Later in the day is my actual workout. That's like 60, 70 workouts in a month. And that cycle just went on and on. And eventually it's like, okay, I haven't missed a day in the gym in like 90 days, right? And some people call that crazy, and that's okay. But just know that I'm willing to sacrifice those small risks, or maybe higher risks, because I would rather have a higher likelihood to achieve the results that I'm trying to achieve. And so like, when you get into this zone and you pick this momentum up to speed and you start to realize, like, yo, I want to do more of this. I want to go harder. And in addition, you know, like you become more efficient with these things. So not just are you doing it more, you're picking up speed, but also as the momentum, you know, increases, you become more efficient. You've done it so much more, right? You've mastered these things. You get better at them. You can do them safer. So when I was doing those 30 days a week, because I'm in there every single day, I'm getting better at the workouts. I'm able to be more efficient in the gym. And yeah, maybe like I wasn't training as hard as I could have every single one of those days. Most of those days, my, you know, intensity rating, you could call it, is to keep a baseline for you guys, like, was on the lower side, right? Maybe it's like a 4 out of 10 instead of like a 7 out of 10, or maybe it was a 7 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. But nonetheless, like, the habits I gained in that period of time were habits that changed my life and allowed me to become the individual that I want to become. And I'm nowhere near the person I'm trying to become, but I've always been a fan of like, yo, do way more work than absolutely necessary. And it's funny because I just talked about this in a video yesterday, right? Or the other day. But if you're doing way more work than absolutely necessary, eventually it's just a matter of time before things pick up and you start seeing the results from these things. And so many people, they're trying to calculate, like, how do I do X, Y, Z? Like, yo, just get momentum and capitalize, maximize on it. And it's going to be so difficult for you to ever fall back, bro. Because truth be told, those times where I was doing 30, 40 workouts a month, maybe even close to 60, yeah, you know, I stepped back a little bit and I had to adjust some things, and maybe it led to a little bit of burnout, right, for maybe a few days. But the benefit to it, right, was I became a whole completely different savage. I was like, how much can I get done in a single day? And like, when you start looking at life like that, like, I can actually get way more work done than I was thinking. And like, during that period of time, I would like wake up and then say, okay, fasted cardio, right? And fasted cardio, it doesn't matter really that much, really. I used to have different opinions on this and say like, fasted cardio is best for fat loss. Really, bro, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And you need to be, you know, it's just pretty much it, bro. But that's pretty much it, bro. But like, the same time, like, the more muscle you build, the easier you burn fat, right? And so not just was I doing the fasted cardio for that reason, it was not really that. It was more so I was doing the fasted cardio because I knew that, okay, I just eat the frog first in the morning. And if you don't know that saying, eat the frog, means like, okay, you wake up, you do the most important thing, right? Like, if you had to eat a frog every single day, you might as well do it first thing in the morning and just get it over with, right? It's like when you're a kid and your parents are like, just do your homework, then you can have ice cream. You're not going to be doing the homework after you have ice cream, even if they let you, even if they're not good parents and they let you do that. You're not going to want to do it, bro. So just get it over with. And that's how I was everything. When I was a kid, I remember literally being in school. We have like 7 minutes left before the bell rings. I have like this 30 question, like, math homework. And I'm filling out all the answers, just like grinding through it. Everybody's like, yo, bro, what's going on? Like, why don't you just chill and relax? I'm like, bro, because when I'm done with this in 7 minutes, bro, because I'm going so hard, I have the whole day free. I can just go to the gym and work out. I can play sports. I can hang with friends. I can, like, do whatever, bro. I can play video games. Like, I got the whole day free now. Y'all, guys and girls, like, you guys now have to spend your time getting your focus back, getting your momentum back, getting back into the speed of things. And it's like the times where I didn't do that, the few and far times in between where I didn't do my homework, like right after school or right at the end of the bell before ringing, I would get home and it's like, now I lose momentum. Now I have to pick it back up. Now I have to get my focus back. And it's like, okay, I'm going to eat lunch first and then do the homework. All the times it's like, well, it just took me 3 hours to get the damn assignment done, right? And moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is like when you get momentum, it becomes a lot more easy to follow through with these things. And so like when you have momentum, attack, because things get easier when you get them done, right? You know how many times people procrastinate and they're like, I just don't want to do this thing, right? And then they start getting in the zone and they're like, that wasn't that bad. Even myself, right? I'm super passionate about my fitness. And the example, I love doing all this stuff, but like I have a coaching app, right? And I love creating the content, and basically I have these exercise demos in there, and it breaks down how to do each exercise. It breaks down, what the target muscle is, and it's me doing a bunch of stuff, right? But the back end work of going into that, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit monotonous and sometimes it sucks. It doesn't suck doing the work, but it's like, I have to scroll through my Instagram, or I have to scroll through my camera roll and find all these photos from 45-minute long videos that I recorded at the gym, and I have to find a 40-second or a 60-second or a 90-second clip from that, and I have to choose which one looks best, and then I have to go out of there, I have to cut out the audio, then I have to voice it over, and then I have to make sure the audio looks perfect, and I have to make sure that one looks better than the next option. It's like, bro, that's the annoying part. Once I'm in the zone, and once I just get in the habit of doing it, it's just like, this is actually fun. Like, it's just the boring stuff that most people don't want to do. I worked for a business owner in the past, and one thing he told me that always stuck with me, was no matter how passionate you are about a business, there's always going to be things that you don't feel like doing, and that is fact. And Hamza, if you're watching this video, you probably are not. It's not the Hamza that has millions of subscribers. He's another one. But if you're watching this video, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you said that once, and I don't think you subscribed on here, unfortunately. But like, people told me those things, and I'm like, you're right. Like, there's always things that are gonna suck. So like, eat the frog first thing in the morning, get the momentum, allow it to pick up speed, and as it does that, it just becomes so much easier to stick with. Because like, people think like, okay, I have to do this stuff, I might as well just put it off for later. Like, bro, just get it over with. And as you start doing the work, you realize like, this is actually enjoyable. It was just the friction of me thinking through how I'm gonna do this. And it's like, if you're ever in a conversation with somebody, you don't know what the first question to ask is, and it's awkward that first time meeting somebody maybe, and then you get to know the person. Now you're in this full-fledged conversation, and it's just, you're going with the flow. It's the exact same thing. You get momentum, you pick up speed, and it becomes easier. And where I'm getting with this whole video, I'm going to wrap it up in the next like 2 minutes, mark my words, is, when you have momentum, hammer down, nail down, and smash that nail into the 2x4 as hard as possible and as deep as possible, pause, because by doing all that, then you're going to be able to make sure that it's imprinted into the wall, right? So like, if you're picking up momentum and speed, it's going to be very difficult to fall back off track. And that's where I'm going with all these analogies. And I think that a lot of you guys watching, you understand concepts when you relate stories to them, and I know that's how I'm best at relating and getting messages across, especially at times giving analogies in these sorts of senses. And so as soon as you pick up momentum, you pick up speed, it's very unlikely that you start to fall off track. And even if you do, it's more likely that you get back on track afterwards, because you're in this consistent routine. And so like, the people that say like, have balance, of course that's true to some extent, but if you're looking over like a, 10-year horizon, and you want to think about like, okay, how many days at the gym realistically can I make it in? 2-3 times? Okay, that's great. And that's what I say with a lot of my clients. But if you're getting started off, bro, and you're 100 pounds overweight and you want to make some stuff happen, bro, I'm here to tell you, like, if you plan out 2 workouts a week and that's all you're going to do, and you're just going to sit back the rest of the week and be like, okay, you know, I did enough, right? Like, so many people are like, I did enough work. Well, guess what's going to happen is you're never going to find the momentum to want to go hard, and you need more leverage. You need to catch up at times in life. And if you don't ever start from the beginning, you know, trying to put yourself in that position, that's going to be tough. And so, like, find the momentum, and the momentum will lead you to taking way more action than absolutely necessary, and it will make you end up, you know, just sticking with it long term and finding fulfillment in the journey. And so I'm going to title this video Find Momentum, or something along those lines. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you want to check out my Instagram page, it's jstroudfit. By all means, be my guest if you don't want to. But if you are somebody that wants to check out my page, it's jstroudfit, same as here. And I just wanted to talk about that because as of recently, I've really been picking up a lot of momentum with my business, with my fitness, with my nutrition, and all of these things carry over into other avenues of life. I've been reading way more. I've been listening to podcasts more. I've been, you know, working on projects with my business. I've been, you know, working on a community and, you know, video modules and like all sorts of things that have allowed my business to become in a better position. And ultimately for me to put my life in the place I want to be at and allow me to become the man that I want to be, right? Because there are hundreds, thousands of things that you want for your life. But truth be told, there are certain things we'll just never get to in life. And that's just that simple. So like, you need to prioritize what's most important for you. And maybe there are things that you will get to in 5-10 years, but like, you need to, you know, determine what's most important for you now. Maybe you have a goal of X, Y, and Z 5 years down the line, and that's great. But A, make sure you put everything in place today and tomorrow so that these things actually happen 5 years down the line and you're not just shooting the dark saying this thing. But also make sure that you're doing, you know, everything in your power to pick up this momentum, and it becomes easier to stick with, and you end up doing more with less time and more efficiency. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to book a call, hear about my coaching processes, click the link below. If not, totally no worries. I'll see you guys in the next one.